Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Major, 1978, and this is my first Christian movie review in my new place in Amherstburg, Ontario. I decided to review the classic Christian film. It's called The First Stone. It stars Charles King, Sarah McGowan, Matthew Sisa, and basically a lot of actors that you've never heard of before. And written and directed by John Wishner and produced by Edward T. McDougall. And this was made back in the '90s, and what basically the film is it's an inspirational drama story. It feels very much like if you remember the '80s and '90s, the kind of after school special kind of vibe movie feel a little bit. And so the story is basically about this African American young person who's in his early 20s. He's a recovering drug addict, and he's trying to make something with his life by doing some work at. He can't find a job, so he gets a job as a janitor at a local church, a very white church in Middle America. It looks like, and basically what happens is that the youth pastor sort of gives up on the kids because he's tired of the kids. He can't handle them anymore, and so the the pastor decides that, well, why don't we try this experiment and see if this guy who's a janitor, uh, maybe he can do something with these kids, because we just don't have anybody else to do with the role of youth pastor right now. Why don't we see if we can get him to do it? Now, the movie's not meant to be a comedy. It's more meant to be like a lighthearted drama. So, obviously it misses some chances to do some kind of high school hijinks with the kids and all that. But basically, what happens is that he's interacting with the kids, but he has no understanding of things about procedure. So, for example, he takes them up into a tree. Oh, wait, is he allowed? Should he be doing that? Because what about insurance policies? And then he's befriending the kids and kind of being real and honest with them about his experience, and at the same time, that kind of, because of his where he's coming from, that kind of ruffles some feathers in the church. Meanwhile, one of the main plot lines of the storyline is that the pastor's son kind of is just sick of church. He's sick of being the pastor's son, and he kind of he kind of wants to just go get out of town with his girlfriend. And that's the basic plot of the story. But what is really nice about this film is that characters feel real, characters feel honest. This feels like it could have been based on a true story. From all accounts that I can find, it is not a true story. However, it has that very based on a true story type feel, and and you can relate to these characters. I can relate to this being an actual youth group. Um, as a movie, if what I just described doesn't really interest you, then you probably will be like, if you're I mean, obviously, if you're looking for a comedy, you're not really going to get that. If you're just looking for a lighthearted story, you are going to get I think you will get a good feel. I think that, considering that none of these actors are seem like, well, they probably are professional, but what I mean, they're not like A-listers from the '90s or something. I think they all do a great job. I think the dialogue is better than 90% of the Christian movies in this genre. So a lot of the movies, if you always compare this to something like God's Not Dead, which is kind of in that same genre of a Christian inspirational film, I would say that this is a better written film. And I also think it has a very positive message. I think that it's something that probably, when I was a teenager, probably would have played in a youth group where I was. I don't think that our today, honestly, if I'm honest with myself, I don't think a teenager um, would would go out of their way to want to watch this necessarily. But I'm just giving you my own personal feeling that if you like lighthearted dramas, if you like warm inspirational stories, this is a good film. And for its genre, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And that's not even bumping it up because it's a Christian movie or anything. That's me saying that this is just a well told story with some real characters about this young man Merle who's an African American janitor, trying to straighten out his life and be a youth pastor, but because he doesn't have the training to be a youth pastor, he makes some mistakes that are just, in my opinion, just really honest and genuine, and could have been fixed by, like, maybe in a real life situation you would just pair him up with, like, I don't know, the children's pastor to do all the administrative work for him or something, or keep an eye on him so he understands boundaries or whatever it is. But otherwise, great film, and I recommend it. This has been another episode of Jason Major 1978, reviewing major Christian movies. Thanks.